What's going on, everybody? It is 49er fans uncut late night call-in show. Not so late tonight, but moving forward, we're gonna be late nighters. I think it's Tuesday at 8 p.m. is gonna be the vibe. We got Sourdeath Sam, who is ultra famous right now for Kyle 5000. Uh,
I feel like his account's gonna have more followers than mine, and then this is how it all begins. Like it's gonna become self-aware, and then by the end of it, he's gonna be the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers.
hey, I kind of like him better. I kind of like him better a little bit.
It's cheaper.
It is. And then
Yeah.
I got BNA Music, who no music today, but normally we're gonna have the guitar stylings of BNA Music. But not only is he a musician, he's responsible for some of the best comedic hits on Twitter as well.
I
So
try.
good to have you guys here, man. We're gonna be doing this a regular thing. I think this is the vibe I was looking for, man. I'm glad you guys are here. So what I'm gonna do, let's run this intro. I just popped the link for you guys to call in the chat, so feel free to line up and call in. I'm gonna run the intro. We'll be back in about 24 seconds.
You dialed to the right place. And now your host, Ryan Hensley.
Yeah, here we go, man. The first episode of 49ers fans uncut late night call-in show. A little early today. We'll be doing it later, like I said, moving forward. But I'm digging it. Like these are the guys I purposely set out to get these guys to do this show with me. Because I just like the vibe, man. I really do. I think we're basically like a late night talk show. And I think you guys are the perfect people to do it with, man. So how are you doing, Sam?
Do good, man. Feeling a little nervous. I'm really susceptible to rumors. Like anytime I see a rumor, like it could be from like John F94765, and if they're like, "Yo, Bosa's getting traded," like I'm just neurotic. Like I'm wired to just always be concerned, especially as a 49ers fan. So I am trepidatiously concerned, but I'm chilling, which is like my standard way of being.
It's all normal for you. BNA, what are you doing in Miami right now, man?
Well, this is my last day out here. I've been really up and down Florida. Hung out with some guys from my old band from when I lived in the DC area. My best friend lives down here, so I went to go see him and the godchildren, and just been kicking it. Ate a lot of food. I've been spending money like a drug dealer out here. So
Yo,
Good,
my
man.
favorite thing to do in Florida is like, Colombian burgers are like a whole nother echelon of burger.
huh.
Like, I don't know if you've had the privilege of having a Colombian burger. Like, they will pack it. Speaking of, they will just pack it to the brim with just like anything. It's like
Oh wow.
eggs, ham, like emu, like it's just stacked, which is
Emo.
crazy. But it's so fire every
Yeah.
time.
Yo,
So make sure before you leave, if you haven't got one yet, make sure to get one.
I might
I'll
chill out on the emu personally.
yeah.
I
I'll
might
have a
chill out on
conference
Are you
with my
missing out?
stomach first. See how that goes.
Well, just say no emu. They'll take care of you.
that. All right. Well, it's good to see everybody in the chat. GTC's here, 187 here. Alex Conklin is here. R Factory 69. I imagine he's dual streaming from Sourdeath Sam's channel. Brian Culp is here. What's up, everybody? Make sure you guys hit that like button for me. SG Sports Channel is here as well. And Johnny Chisari. Johnny is actually backstage. He's going to be our first caller. I just put the link in the chat. So if you guys want to call in, there's the link. Johnny's backstage. Johnny, you got about 4 or 5 minutes, man. I know you're ready to cook, so let's put you on, man.
Good,
What's going on, Johnny?
good evening, Ryan. What's going on, Sam? What's going on, BNA?
What's up,
Yo,
What's going
man?
on?
Ryan, I need everyone to relax. I'm gonna have I have a question for you. If the 49ers weren't serious about a Super Bowl, would they have traded Nick Bosa before the draft?
Well, if they were serious about a Super Bowl, would they have him sign for week 1? That's my
No.
pushback on you, Johnny.
Ultimately, the deal will get done
When?
because there's no choice. And I looked at our salary cap. I sent you something to your DM, Ryan. You need to take a look at that. They have
All
the
right.
money. I mean, Jed York does his insider trading thing. He has the money. Pay the guy. This isn't hard to do at this point. Look, at the end of the day, and I'll be as blunt as I can be with all three of you guys. Without him, we are a bottom 15 defense. This is
Bottom
just how I'm
15.
seeing it. With him, they are a top 5 defense. There's no debate on what to do here. If he wants to be greedy, I agree with him. He bet on himself and he won Defensive Player of the Year. All the power to him. Give him what he wants. Because I'm tired of hearing about this because we need to focus here on Pittsburgh. It's going to be a tough game. However, I'm just going to tell you one thing. We're going to cook their defensive backs. I see a weakness on their back end. They're not. Patrick Peterson ain't good no more. And they have a rookie back there who is not. He's learning on the job.
Let me ask you this, Johnny. Let me interrupt, Johnny. I won't take. I'll give you your time back.
That ain't any rookie.
What do you say, BNA?
That ain't any rookie. That's petty. They've been scouting that man since he was born.
Yeah.
That's Joey Porter Jr.
Yeah, but he's still learning on the job.
Johnny, why are they bottom 15 without Bosa, my guy? That's curious to me.
Oh, okay. So, you signed Hargrave. Is Hargrave supposed to replace what Bosa does? Because if that was the plan, this is a bad plan. Hargrave may get you 10 sacks, but are you going to trust what Farrell and Hyder and Bryan are going to do? Or Drake Jackson, who we don't know what he is yet? They're not going to get the same amount of pressure. What they're going to have to do to get pressure is blitz their linebackers. And if they do that, that means the middle of the field's wide open for the tight end to cook us if the blitz is picked up properly.
Okay. How you feeling about this game, man, without Bosa, man? You got a couple more minutes, but how do you feel about this game versus Pittsburgh without Bosa? Because I don't think it's happening.
It's on the offense. If I think the offense is going to be as good as I think it's going to be, they should be able to hang 30 on them. But I don't know if the defense without Bosa is not going to give up 31. I'm going to give you a score prediction right now, and in my head, this means Bosa is not going to play. Keep in mind, if he was playing, I'd have a lot more low scoring. 30-24. Niners win by 6.
All right, man.
Because I think Debo and Ayuk are going off.
Okay. 30 seconds, Johnny. Let's hear your closing case, man. What else you got to say? What's on your mind? 30 seconds, bro. Get it off.
And the front office has butchered this very badly in terms of Bosa. There's no way around it. Look, at the end of the day, they butchered the Trey Lance thing. They need to save face with Bosa, and that's ultimately why it gets done. And one more thing. Because of the injury settlement with Zane Gonzalez and someone else, that $2 million they were close on, they got that $2 million now. Give them the money. Get ready for week 1. Go into Pittsburgh, Johnny. Win the game.
Right on, Johnny, man. Thanks for calling, man. I appreciate you. All right, that's Johnny, man. We got Jaleel Demery and Brian Colt backstage. You guys, I put the link in the chat if you guys want to call in. Sam, how do you feel about our friend Johnny's call? Any points you got from that?
Might be underestimating the Steelers. I actually think the Steelers are going to be one of the teams to watch out for this year. Mike Tomlin was not going to be down for long, and his team has bona fide killers. We have Nick Bosa waiting for a contract, and they've got someone with the last name Watt who's ready to eat. And an offensive line that, yeah, we got Trent Williams back. Everything else feels like it could hold, but let's not get carried away thinking that we're going to easily hang up 30. If we do, it's possible. We have skilled players that are phenomenal. Let's not forget that either. But we also have a history of Shanahan-led teams starting slow, and it may not be a homer thing to say, but I think we have to be prepared potentially that week 1 could be a loss. It might be a close loss, but it might be a loss.
Yeah, I called it a loss by 3 already today. I had a Pittsburgh Steelers content creator on today, and we did our predictions. I got us losing by 3, man. I'm keep it honest. That's my opinion. Obviously, I want 49ers to win every game, but if I'm being real, I see us losing closely, and I'm concerned about the kicking game. I'm concerned about Wilkes, BNA. What else? How do you see this game playing out?
I'm old enough to remember when TJ Watt hit Cam Newton so hard coming off the right side that the man is now a YouTuber like you.
And he's welcome anytime. Anytime
He's
he wants to
welcome
come
to come on the show.
Yeah.
And Cam Newton, I've met Cam Newton before. That's a big human.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy, I've seen him in person before. I'm bigger than Brock Purdy.
Mhm.
I also don't play quarterback. And I'm worried about Colton McKivitz. Like,
Yeah.
I look at that offensive line outside of Trent Williams. I just see turnstiles. I'm concerned.
Well, you know what concerns me, man? I can't think of his name right now, but the guy I talked to the Pittsburgh Steelers content creator today. Watt's not even their best pass rusher.
Oh, talking about Cameron Hayward and
Not Hayward. High something.
Oh, Highsmith. I think it's Highsmith.
Something like that. Yeah, that's their best pass rusher.
He's nasty.
Yeah, Cameron Hayward's no joke either. He's an interior. I actually went to his aunt was my high school art teacher, by the way. Shout out to Miss Pearson.
Shout out.
But yeah, man, I'm concerned. I'm a little concerned, man. I would love to be wrong, but we'll see. We got Jalil backstage.
We're Niners fans. We want to be wrong. Even, you can look at the game and be, objective without, being like, oh, you're just doubting the Niners. Like, no, I'm being realistic. Like, TJ Watt versus Colt McKivitz. Who you think I'm taking?
Really?
Come on.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, we're football fans first. We're aware. We're intelligent beings. And we get that a lot. And I'm gonna get to Julia in just a second, but this is one I get often. I don't understand. Like Ryan hates Brock Purdy. I don't. I just have a realistic summary of Brock Purdy so far. I think he's great at a lot of things. I don't get it. Like if you don't think the 49ers are gonna win every game, you're not a good Niner fan. If you don't think Brock Purdy's perfect, the next Joe Montana, you hate Brock Purdy. Yeah, you guys got to do better, man. It's deeper than that. All right, let's get Jalil on here, man. What's up, Jalil?
Yo, what's good? You get me?
Yes, sir.
Man, listen, I don't think we're gonna get it done. I don't think we're gonna get it done this year, man. But how impatient they were with everything, you know what I'm saying? Like with this whole process, like they gotta get it done this year, man. I don't see it happening, man. But I'm tired of the excuses, bro. Like they just gotta get it done, man. And I don't see it happening. But I'm a 49er fan. Every Sunday, I'm gonna root for them and hope for the best. But I don't think it's happening this year, man. Hope like they need to get it done, man. Because they always saying, "Oh, we in the Super Bowl window. We're in the Super Bowl window." They can't do this. They can't do that. They don't have no patience with certain people because they're in the Super Bowl window. Okay, y'all in the Super Bowl window, but we still don't have no rings. Get it? Let's get the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah,
It's just that simple, man.
We talked about the Super Bowl window is going to be closing soon. You got a year, maybe 2 years left with this group at least in this Super Bowl window. So they got to get it done, man. What makes you discouraged they're not going to get it done? Why don't you think it's going to happen?
Oh man. First of all, I don't think we're gonna get it done, man. All right. All right, it's called Uncut, right?
It's
Bro.
Uncut, baby. You let it
Yeah,
rip.
all right. Think about if the Cowboys, the Dallas is like the most hated team in America. If the Cowboys said they in the Super Bowl window now, and they had last year's last pick in the draft at quarterback, they had so many question marks at tackle position. They had so many question marks. A big transition, then this whole Trey Lance thing. If this was the Dallas Cowboys, everybody would be laughing at us, and everybody would know, like, bro, this is not going to end well. But because this is the 49ers and we're on the West Coast, nobody really knows what's going on, and nobody knows what's going on. They just looking at it from afar and just making a analysis from afar, and like, yeah, man, like, yeah, like that sums it up, man. Like, bro, it's not gonna happen this year, man. Like, there's so many things have to go right for this to happen this year. I'm rooting for it, man, but I don't see it. I really don't see it.
Yeah,
But
I respect the
Man,
pessimism and emotional hedging.
I'll
I
say,
tend to
to
do
be
that.
fair, he
Yeah.
low key kind of described when they got Romo. I mean, Romo, he was undrafted,
Yeah.
but after that point, they were like a respectable team that thought they had a Super Bowl window. But when it came down to it, he was a
he wasn't
turnover.
good enough. He wasn't good
Yeah,
enough.
he would throw that one. Like Romo wasn't the turnover prone guy everybody says he is, but it's the problem is when those turnovers would happen.
Right.
Yeah,
Like because he
yeah.
was a gunslinger. But
I'm,
it's similar to that. We're in that what the Cowboys were with Romo, where we're putting faith in a guy that there was reasons why they were the last pick of the draft or
yeah.
undrafted. And we're just
Yeah.
banking on that we just found this diamond in the rough that everybody missed. Now,
Mhm.
Purdy could be that. I'm
He could be.
hoping he's that. I'm
Yeah.
hoping he's that. But if he's not, it's like you'll know the reasons would have been there, and we've just been, having rose-colored glasses on the entire time. Like, yeah, he's the
Yeah.
small size of a DB playing
I'm
quarterback.
taller than I'm taller than Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Jaleel, man, what's your number one reason? And we got, just by the way, we got Brian Colt, Giannis from Norway, Niner Gang, and GTC backstage. We're gonna get to all you guys, but Jaleel, you said it's not gonna happen this year. What's the number one reason it's not gonna happen this year, in your opinion?
Hey, listen up, bro. That's a good question. That's a legit good question. So check this out, man. Forget Brock. Forget forget all of the things I just said. The number one reason why we're not going to Super Bowl because of Kyle Shanahan, man.
Hmm.
Man. It's because of him, man. It's because of him, and it's not because he make mistakes. We're humans. We make mistakes. He don't learn from his mistakes, man. He don't. I from afar, it's like, bro, he really don't learn from his mistakes, man. It's yeah, let's sum it up. He don't learn from his mistakes, man. And it seemed like, that about sums it up. And,
Well,
and I'm gonna say one more thing about Cal, man,
all right.
bro. Like you know how I was talking about with the franchise and everybody in the office being impatient, bro. I'm starting to get impatient with Cal, bro. These boys ain't gave Harbaugh no like they ain't gave him no grace. One season he made the playoffs, got rid of him,
Yeah.
bro. You had that same energy with Cal, man, and Cal got the best. Cal got the best. Listen, man. I'm a fan. I love football way more than I love the 49ers, man. That's why I'm rooting for Trey. Bro, I love football way more than I love the 49ers. I got a
Mm-hmm.
49ers wedding band. But man, Kyle Shanahan, I'm not being a homer. That's why I said all that. Bro, we had one of the best uh rosters the last 3 years, man.
Yeah.
And we don't have a ring. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. That's a head coach problem, man. That's a head
Yeah.
coach problem, man. He got to get it
Jaleel,
together.
Jaleel, man, I appreciate your call, man, and you representing for the frustrated 49er fans everywhere, man. Thank
Yeah.
you very much, brother.
Mhm.
All right, man. I'm gonna keep watching, man. I appreciate y'all.
All right, buddy.
All
Thanks for
right.
Take
hopping on,
care,
man.
Yeah, Jalil's a little down right now. Sam, what you think, man?
He's a little bummed out. I mean, I think there are some points that I can agree on. I think, one of the key factors, I think more than the 49ers have fallen victim to perhaps Kyle Shanahan's stubbornness, I think they have fallen perpetually on the sword of injury. And it seems like such a cop-out commentary, but we were on to Josh Johnson in a NFC Championship game that I personally believe that we very well could have won had we still had Brock Purdy in the game. We lost Jimmy G in a critical season. So all things considered, I think that Shanahan is going to get a longer leash than sometimes we hope he would, because at the end of the day, he not only is better at getting the job done than most of the schmucks we've had in here previously, but he's also a trendsetter. I mean, the people who are the new hot coaches have the sort of RC Cola version of his Coca-Cola recipe. And at a certain point, whenever this conversation comes up, I have to sort of loop back and be like, well, who else is it going to be? Because at the end of the day, we're sort of at like a interesting crossroads with coaching philosophy, both in terms of offensive scheme and in terms of culture. One thing that Kyle's players will always say about him is that he's very upfront. Like there is no politics with Kyle. Like he will tell you to your face in front of everyone what needs to get done in order to fix whatever you got wrong. And at the same time, there are people who have incredible respect for him because he's not just there to just grind you into powder. There is an intrinsic desire for you to succeed. So I'm with him though. I mean, look, we're frustrated because we've had generational talent on this team way longer than most teams can hold on to that kind of talent.
Yeah.
And somehow we figured out how to do it, and yet we're still at an impasse. And I think that's kind of why this Nick Bosa situation is such a nerve-wracking moment, is because we felt like this was yet another year that we had this impossibly talented roster, and there's this lingering fear that's beginning to bubble. Like, damn, if we lose Nick Bosa, it's gonna feel like when we were. It feels like we were at the. We're like getting to the top of the mountain. And then it just feels like the peak broke off. And instead of us being able to sit at the perch, we're like trying to collect ourselves as we're potentially exiting this Super Bowl window roster. Is that dramatic? I don't know. Our defense can be strong without Bosa, absolutely. But who are we getting in return for Bosa if we trade him? And if we do keep him, who is the cap casualty along the way?
Yeah, I think a lot of this is Bosa's gone. They're not trading Bosa. He's coming. It's just a matter of when. It's just a matter of when.
Now.
Yeah, they're not going to do that. I would be surprised. Johnny Wise says, I'm not a 49ers fan. Interesting. Caesar says K5000. I would love to know what K5000 thought of that last caller.
Oh, he would have had some things to say, bro. He's sassy, bro. The craziest thing about Kyle 5000 is like I stopped kind of checking what he said. Like I have a life to live, and he just tweets all day. He lives the life I wish I could live. And sometimes I look, I'm like, God, I'm so worried I'm going to get canceled because of some shit he says. But luckily, he's not programmed to do anything nefarious. So,
the last caller also brought up Kyle or Harbaugh's leash. Harbaugh straight ejected Jed York from a meeting and said it was like men only or something like that. Like, you don't want to do that to your owner.
That's gangster shit I've ever seen in my life.
That's so real.
Wild boy.
I loved Harbaugh, but I mean, you probably don't want to say that to your boss. That's probably a bad idea.
No.
All right. Well, we got Brian Colt, Giannis backstage. We got Niner Gang, GTC, and Raymond Martinez. I think that's probably going to do it time-wise. So you guys stick around. Nobody else call in, but let's get to the main man, everybody's favorite, Brian Colt. What's up, Brian?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Glad to have you, brother, as always.
Can I start out by asking you guys a question?
Yes, sir.
I'd like all three of you guys. I've seen all of you for a long time now. And, through Grant's channel, yours channel, Ryan, Sourdeath Sam, I've seen you a lot too as well. So can I have your guys' definition of what a 49er fan is? And if you want to really be clever about it, tell me what the difference between it being a 49er fan and a faithful is.
I'll let, why don't we do BNA? Why don't you start with that, man? I'll finish it up. BNA, Sam, and me.
Well, I think with the term faithful, because every fan base has like a nickname for their fan base. You know, the Cleveland has the Dog Pound. So like you can be a fan, and because you're a fan, you're a part of the Dog Pound. 49ers, if you're a fan of the 49ers, you're a part of the 49ers faithful, because at the end of the day, you just want to see that team win, per se. Like that's your favorite team. Of whether it's like your favorite players are attached to that team, you grew up rooting for that team to win Super Bowls or win games, your favorite players, your best memories of being a 49er. Like for me, 49er fan since I was born. My dad was a 49er fan, rest his soul. My dad was a 49er fan. He took me to Candlestick, and then also on my mother's side, my cousin is Merton Hanks, so I was going to be a 49er fan one way or another, either through my mom's side or my dad's side. So that's how I became a fan. And at the end of the day, I have favorite players on other teams just because I watch a lot of college football and I start watching high school football. So I'm fans of like individuals from other teams or even players that leave the 49ers that go other places. I'll still be a fan of, like Deion Sanders. When he left the Niners, even though he's only here for 1 year, he's still been one of my favorite sports stories ever. Like the dude's he's still doing great things. I know y'all seen that Colorado game.
I
Dion is
missed it.
him.
I missed
Dion
it.
is him. Go
Yeah.
back and watch highlights. His son is him too. But
Yeah.
yeah, so as far as being a fan, it's just like the team that wears those colors, they're attached to your childhood or just your early memories of watching football, and that's how you become a fan. As far as the nicknames are concerned, that's just the name of the fan base. We're the 49ers fans, we're the faithful. We're Niners Empire, not a nation. Empire.
Okay, I gotta stop you right there. We're not a nation, but okay, I agree.
Sam,
Go ahead,
Sam,
Sam.
why don't you respond to Brian?
Yeah, well, BNA just casually dropping that he's 49ers royalty. Dude,
Yeah, I
Merton
mean, I know
Hanks,
that.
dude, come on
Yeah.
now.
I don't have
Yeah,
a neck.
yeah, I did. I know, dude. If you break out the Dirty Bird in the middle of a stream, dude, I will personally
I
throw
would love
money into
that.
your Venmo account.
I would love that.
Here is, I'm actually glad you asked that question because I feel like there's a lot of sort of like conditional gatekeeping that I think sometimes people do on the internet as far as like what you are allowed to do or not allowed to do as a 49ers fan. So let me sort of like synthesize this as best I can. I really think there's a broad definition for 49ers fan. I think you can be a 49ers fan who came out of the hospital as a baby wrapped in a 49ers blanket. I think you could also be a 49ers fan if yesterday you were trying to pick a team that you wanted to root for and you decided the 49ers because you like their jerseys. Fan is a really broad term. And obviously like super fan and things like there's obviously a gradient. There's like a spectrum of like what being a fan can be and what it can mean. There are people who tailgate every single game. There are people who just get the score notifications on their phone and they just tune in during the playoffs. And I think it's important to accept that spectrum. And the more you're at peace with the fact that not everyone is going to hold their fandom to the same standard, like the happier that fan ecosystem can exist.
Yes.
I think there are a lot of people who get upset when you criticize the team or if you criticize a player or have an opinion that's maybe not favorable about a player. Some of us have family members that, are not always the most fun or not always perfect.
Yeah.
And we have license to criticize them too. And it's not about us hating a particular player. There are, of course, like very rare instances where there is a hatred for a player for on the field reasons. But for the most part, a lot of the commentary that people feel about players is based on what they're seeing or how they're feeling about their play against others. The quarterback position in San Francisco is tough because we went from Joe Montana to Jerry Rice to CJ Beathard. Those are 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Obviously joking on the last one. But at the end of the day, being a fan just means that you're invested in the team. Now, being a faithful, I do kind of put that in its own category, and I speak as someone who was a lifelong Warriors fan. I had to sit there watching my friends dressed in Kings jerseys as a kid watch the Kings play the Lakers in the playoffs for potentially getting a ring. And the Warriors was like, we were always never good, always. And yet I stuck by it. Because even as a kid, I was like, I knew in my head, if we get to the point of greatness, I can appreciate it. I can own it. I can be a part of it in a way that makes it all worth it. And to me, that's faithful. Like if we're going to really classify it, that's how I identify with it. Because as a Warriors fan, I already went through that. Then the Warriors got great. And I felt zero issue being stoked and bragging about it and rocking the jerseys because I was there when we were trash. And with the 49ers, it was almost the opposite. It was like I grew up and they were always the best. And then it had this like purgatory window with the exception of Harbaugh where we were not great at all. And we're here again. And I think that's why we're frustrated is because like we almost got to the mountaintop with Harbaugh and then it was an unceremonious exit. And here we are again. And so there's a lot of people who are trying to experience that joy that our parents or our older siblings experienced that we never really got the privilege to, mostly speaking to like the younger fan base. To me, that's faithful, is hanging in there and dealing with it. But being a fan is not exclusionary to maybe dishing out some criticism. But
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
I mean, I think I see it different. Here's the thing: the word fan comes derived from the word fanatic. Fanatic just means a person filled with excessive or single-minded zeal. I couldn't talk about the 49ers on YouTube all day, every day, if I wasn't filled with excessive single-minded zeal. I obviously love the 49ers. I have my whole life. I want them to win the Super Bowl every year. I actually don't like the name Faithful. I know I'm separate. You know, I'm gonna say what's on my mind, honestly, all the time. You guys will learn that about
Play
me.
that
Like,
uncut, baby.
whether it's uncut, yeah, hit that thing. Whether people like it or not, I don't consider myself faithful. Like I'm loyal. I'm a fan. I'm always gonna be a 49ers fan. But if I see something I don't have faith in, I'm gonna say I don't have faith in it. So I'm not gonna. I don't like titles, man. I don't have a political party. I don't have a religion. I don't have none of that. I don't like titles. Don't put me into a title. Don't try to put me into a group. I'm a 49ers fan because I say I am. And if you guys say you're 49er fans, you're 49er fans. Who am I to say you're not, or what's a fake fan? What's a true fan? How you have to fan? I don't buy into all that, man. I'm a 49ers fan because I say I am. If I wasn't, I wouldn't say I am. It's like that Eminem song. I am whatever I say I am, right? So, I mean, that's my opinion. Brian, you've been super patient letting us answer that question, man. I know we've taken a lot of your time, but how do you want to respond to that, Brian?
Well, no, I wanted to call in and ask you guys. There's a lot of things I'd like to ask, but I know you have a lot of people waiting. But being a 187, again, sorry to butcher your name. I agree with you. Don't think I'm taking shots at you. I just don't like that nation talk because that's the Raiders. Even the Broncos tried to include that.
Thank you.
And I do have to have a little clap back on you because, I know you said the dog pound, but that's actually a section in the stadium. That's where people go to
I was trying to use
same thing like the Raider Nation has the black hole. The fans don't call themselves the black hole, but there's no section in Levi's that's called the faithful. That's what like a fan who sticks by the team, win or lose, dark days, it doesn't matter. And you can have, a constructive criticism against the team. You can be mad. You can be very mad, but you still watch the games. You still are there. I've been watching football since 1995, 96. I haven't missed one game. It's either been on the radio or somehow, some way I've caught the score somehow. So I'm not saying anybody's better than me or I'm better than anybody. There's a lot of guys out there that are more knowledgeable. They can break down the scheme, the plays. They can tell you different things. I played third string quarterback. I was a kicker in high school. So, I mean, it's not like I'm super talented out there, right? But I do have passion, and it does make me upset when I hear fans say, I'm not going to root for the Niners because my player's not here anymore. Okay, that's happened. Players come and go. And if you're going to be mad that they can't keep everybody, well, that's life. You're not going to be able to keep everybody at every position, just normal jobs. So, right now, I want Bosa signed, and I think, him being on our team is really great. If he's not on our team, I think we can still make a lot of noise. And where's the evidence to that? Look at the Eagles when they beat the Patriots. Look at the Giants when they beat the Patriots. There was so many different teams that just strike fire at one moment or another, and they can just run the table. What's really upsetting about our team is we had the 9 years of the dark days, 2002 to 2011, maybe 2010, if you want to call it that way, where we didn't have people. If you're a fan, you're really a fan and you watch those games. But if you took a hiatus and stopped watching it, okay, that's your prerogative. But for that time, we only had Gore. We couldn't say we had Alex Smith. He was in and out of the lineup too much. We got Willis, and then we started getting a couple more key players. We finally got a decent coach. It took us 3 coaches. To get to the playoffs. So for me, it is, I want to see a Super Bowl so bad. It's been 29 years. And I hate this talk about people saying, we can't pay. We can't pay. We can pay. It's what are we going to accept next year? We can go all in this year and we can win a chip. You can't take our rings away from us. You cannot. So I said this earlier. I don't think anybody's mad that is a Rams fan that they won the Super Bowl a couple years ago and they were going to have a couple bad seasons. I don't want to keep making it to the NFC Championship and losing. I want to win the Super Bowl. And then after that, if they decide to, nuke the team and rebuild because the contracts are so, extravagant, okay, let's do that. But right now we have a core of guys that we can get it done with. I don't care if people don't like the Cabo clique or what. This is the clique that we've been building since 2017. You either win now or you rebuild. There's not too many more options. It's not we're going to get to the NFC Championship and that's good enough for us. We're the 49ers. We've been to more NFC Championships than any other team, but at one point we had more Super Bowls. So where is the mentality of getting back to being a Super Bowl contender? And for me, I'm not going to question anyone's fanhood because I'm not going to put her on blast, but my mother-in-law, she can't tell you everything about the Niners, but she can tell you that she's a fan. She has more jerseys than I do. Does that make her a fan more than me? No, it just means that she spent her money in that place. So again, I'm really tired of people saying, oh, we can't pay somebody because we won't be able to keep them next year. Let the organization deal with that. It's not the 2024 49ers, it's the 23 49ers. We're in 23 right now. Let's worry about the next season after this year. Let's go all in. But guys, thanks for having me on. Ryan, really like your show. You know that. Anytime you ever need me, and I'm trying to call into your show, but my scheduling with my channel has been a little bit interfering with yours. But I always like to come and tell you thank you for everything you've done. And you guys, appreciate you too. Because if you look at how many 49er content creators we have, we're really unmatched by any other team. They try to say the Eagles have a lot. I don't believe it. I believe us 49er faithfuls, right? We're holding it down. So again, guys, thanks for having me on. And shout out to the chat. Thank you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the like button and support all these guys because they're only here because they're doing it and they're having fun. And if you guys don't like what you're listening to, then change it. But these guys are going to keep doing it because they got the passion. So thank you, Ryan, again.
Thank you, Brian. Good job as always, man. I appreciate you, brother.
I will say this.
Yeah.
I really want Bosa signed, and I really don't care about the dollar amount because the reason why we can afford him because we're not paying the quarterback. And if we can't afford a quarterback, guess who's not coming here? Kirk Cousins.
That's right, baby.
I've been on Kirk Cousins' head since he was in Washington. I know about that man. I'm waiting for him to get caught up with some betting stuff because he be point shaving. I know he be point shaving. It's 4th and 8, and you check it down for a 3-yard. No, I want him to stay away. No,
that would be the ultimate long con. Is like him pitching himself as just like the most wholesome dude, and then just secretly just sharking Vegas for his own personal gain. I like your theory. I like your theory.
He's the next one. He's gonna be like Jameson or the other dude that's suspended.
Yeah, that good old boy, corny Kirk Cousins. That's just an act, man. He's really
right, dude.
After that paper on the DL. Yeah, man. I mean, it's a reality is, and we got Giannis, Niner Gang, GTC, and Raymond backstage. We're gonna finish after that, but the reality is, I mean, at this point, just pay him, and if you don't want that contract, trade him next year after the season, right? Like, who cares at this point if you can't afford it or whatever? But all right, let's go. Giannis, straight from Norway. What's up, my
Can you
guy?
guys hear me?
Yeah. How you doing?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm doing well. Thank you, guys. It's actually quite late here now, but I don't really have work this week.
I was going to ask you, bro, what time is it over there?
Yeah, right now it's 3:38 actually a.m.
Dude,
wow.
Love you. You are so hardcore.
Yeah, man. I got a little Norwegian.
You do?
Yeah, I'm a little Norwegish.
Wow.
That's probably the wrong word.
Norwegish.
Norwegian.
Norwegian. There we go. But hey, man, thanks for calling. How are you able to watch all the Niner games out there? How do you watch?
Well, the thing is, for example, the Thursday night game that we're gonna have against Jet, I don't think I'm gonna be able to watch that. But the others I can because they're at 10 p.m. usually. But we have a lot of like 1 p.m. Eastern time this year games, and those are at 7 p.m. for me. So I'm gonna be able to watch almost every game this year.
That's great, man. Well, what's on your mind?
Okay, so I just had a few thoughts, and one I want to piggyback off the previous caller, Brian. Right? You know what's funny to me about these last 4 years? I almost feel like the Niners, especially the management, have been a victim of own success. And what do I mean by that? I feel like if the last 3 or the last 4 years, if we were, let's say, like 10-7, lost in the first round or the second round, the fans would accept it more than accepting being so close, because being so close, the pain is too much, rather than, oh, okay, we're a decent team. Hey, we go again next year. I almost feel like they've been a victim of their own success in that regard, that fans are just not accepting anything. But, like Sourdeath Sam was saying, that final hurdle, and we would have gotten over that hurdle if not for stupid Jimmy G. I will never forgive him. I hope they go 0-17. I mean, he is the reason why this team doesn't have a title right now, because everybody else did their job. Even the coach, to me, did his job. It's Jimmy G is the reason why the Niners don't have a ring right now. But, I mean, in many ways they picked him. So, I mean, can we really put it on him? Because I mean, they had him and he did not deliver. But I just feel like I don't know how you guys feel about that. Like, do you feel like the scrutiny on management and the team and the angst that I see from the fan base, would it be there if the team was just like, let's say, the Vikings, every year decent, make the playoffs, lose, and not really like as close as we have been?
Yeah, I think it's tougher, right? It's like you come so close to glory over and over and over again. It makes it tougher than if you just know you have no chance, right? It's like thinking, man, maybe I'm gonna win the lottery, right? As opposed to just being like, I have no chance to win the lottery, right? Like it's that kind of mentality. So I think it's a valid point. I think that's why it's frustrating for us, because we've been to the mountaintop, and we've come close recently in the last couple, last decade or so, doing it again. And we didn't quite get there. So I think that's a valid point you're making.
Yeah, I actually think the lottery analogy is a good one. I mean, because think about it, like everyone forgets there is a lottery until the news tells you that the pot is at 1.7 billion, right? When everyone realizes the stakes are high, everyone wants a ticket. Everyone's curious. It's talked about on the news. It's not news until the pot is 1.7 billion. Right now, the pot has been Super Bowl, and we keep not winning it. So we keep getting a lot of this interest because that potential is there. Like this potential is like light, and we're all moths just like drawn to it. And the more that potential dies, the less moths there will be, right? I think there couldn't have been more disinterest in the 49ers than the years where we were in our sort of dark era. And then Harbaugh came in, and all of a sudden there was a surge of interest. I mean, it was pretty hard to fill Levi's Stadium at first. And now we're getting to the point where we're able to fill it up. And a lot of that has to do, winning cures everything. And the irony here is that while winning has cured a lot of the problem about people being interested in showing up, being on the team, there is an issue now that we have, which you're absolutely right. They're a victim of their own success, and they're dealing with an issue where they are now having to sustain a level of quality in their product that is beginning to become harder and harder as these salaries begin to mount up.
Yeah, that makes sense. We got BNA back in the building. Yeah, go ahead, Giannis. You got some more time,
Yeah,
brother.
I don't know. Maybe VNA had a thought about what I said. Maybe he was listening. Do you have
I
any
caught a
thoughts?
piece of it when you were
Yeah.
talking about them being a victim of their own success. And I had that same feeling too, especially when you think back to the time when we were playing the Bears and it looked like we were about to make the switch from Jimmy to Trey, or even those runs where we think we're about to win the NFC Championship, then we lose. But the issue is that I think because we skipped that step of having the guy, we just think, oh, we can just drag Jimmy's corpse to a Super Bowl and stuff. Because we were close at one time, they try to redo that over and over again. Like, oh, we just need a guy. But it's like every time we think we need just a guy, we get beat by a person that is a guy. You go with Mahomes, like, yeah, you think you held him in check for most of the Super Bowl, but dude's Superman. And he showed us why in that last fourth quarter. And you saw the difference because what did Jimmy do? 3 for 11 and a pick. And Mahomes was 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Or you go play against the Rams. You see the Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp connection. Like, those things has always been up in our way. And then even like, let's say the Eagles game, yes, Brock Purdy got knocked out and stuff, but looking at how Jalen Hurts handled himself in that Super Bowl, who's to say if the pressure was on, he wouldn't have did that to us if it came down to it.
Yeah.
Because he looked a whole lot better than he did. Well, at least last year looked a whole lot better than the last time we saw him. And even in that game, he was close at the end when we played him the first time in their house. So I think we can keep skipping the step of like really letting a quarterback get comfortable, or a good quarterback get comfortable. That's why I'm hoping Brock Purdy is that guy, and we don't get Kirk Cousins, because this is a good learning experience for him this year.
Yeah.
And let's say, we get close with him, but he looks good, we can go into next year feeling confident that, okay, we got a guy at quarterback, so we can afford to lose some guys. So what if we, let's say we trade Kittle, but let's say he just developed this relationship with Latu, and we find out that Latu is good or Willis is good or something like that. But we won't know because we keep trying to manufacture good quarterback play versus like develop a good quarterback.
Yeah, that's a good point. Giannis, I got a bunch of people run out of time, but I did want to ask you something if it's okay. How did you become a Niner fan, being that you're from Norway, man? I'm curious.
Great
30
question.
seconds.
Yeah, so I think I had a semester at UC Berkeley. So almost like a decade ago. It's like 2013. So the choice was Raiders or Niners, and it was just I went to a Candlestick game. That's the only way I become a Niner fan. I mean, I could have easily become a Raiders fan. So yeah, So.
That's a very good choice, Giannis. You made a smart choice, man. That's probably why you went to UC Berkeley, I'm sure.
It was just a semester. It was an exchange thing. But one last prediction about this season. I feel like this season we're gonna get a lot of answers because I feel like when that comment of when he said, "Oh, Brock Purdy is the real deal" or whatever he said, I think we're gonna find out in the games why he said that, and it's not because he's some amazing player. It's because he just executes, and then we're gonna see how well he does, and that's when people are gonna give all the credit to the system, and they're not gonna give any credit to him. But he's gonna be the executor. I think that's what we're gonna see this season. I hope so.
Appreciate it, Giannis. Hopefully you're right, man. Thank you very much, brother. Nice to talk to you. Hopefully you call back in.
Thanks for calling in, dude.
Yeah,
all right, that was Giannis, man. We got to kind of speed through it a little bit quicker now because we're running out of time. Niner Gang's been backstage waiting. Let's get him on. What's up, Niner Gang?
Gentlemen, I'm gonna make this short and sweet. How y'all doing tonight?
Doing good, man. By yourself.
Good to hear from you, brother. Nice energy.
It's freaking let's go. It's football, the first game. Gives a shit if Bosa's out there or not. We got a game to play. Let's go.
Here we go.
Let's get
Yes.
this shit done. Hey, what's their famous words? Next man up. Let's see it.
Hey.
Other than that, that's all I want to say, gentlemen. I want to bring some positive vibes, positive energy, man. Let's go. Bang, bang.
Yeah,
bang,
bro. Let's go. That's what I like to hear, baby.
This is the energy I wanted, Niner Gang, man. This is what we needed, man. Thank you, man. Great timing, brother. I appreciate it.
That's it, baby. I just want to get some dubs. I know we ain't gonna win them all, but hey, win or lose, Niners till I die, baby. Let's go. Niners.
That's right, dude.
I'm out, gentlemen.
Thanks for calling in, dude. Appreciate it.
I'm cool with next man up, long as that next man is not Sam Darnold.
That's right.
I never want to see him play football again.
Shout out to Niner Gang, man. He was waiting this entire time, and he just wanted to come in here and bring up our energy. He only had about 15 seconds worth of stuff he wanted to say. I appreciate Niner Gang for doing that for me, man. Thank you. We needed that, brother. Yes, sir. All right. One of my favorites, GTC's backstage. What's up, GTC?
Yo, what's up, Ryan? What's up, BNA? What's up, Cass? Yeah, a couple of things that kind of worry me is I say up the middle, and I don't mean the linebacker because the linebacker core is actually really, really strong. I'm talking about like safety and losing somebody like Jimmy Ward. It's gonna hurt. Like I'm probably like one of the only people that's been saying this, but
hey, hold on. I'm sure you saw my show in March saying that the number one thing the 49 he was in my top 7 list. One of the things they had to do
and
to
I
win the
agreed
Super
with
Bowl
you.
was re-sign Jimmy Ward, man. I agree. Yeah.
I agreed with you on that one because he's a tone setter. We've all played sports, whether it be baseball or football. He's one of those dudes that just gets it. It's like one of those guys you just want to root for, do whatever you can to get to the next level. And I think his loss is going to be. I think we're going to feel it. I hope not, but with Hufanga injured right now, Gibson, day to day. You're only as good as your middle, So I think the linebacking core is probably going to be asked to do a lot, and that's what I'm afraid of with Pittsburgh because we all know that Mike Tomlin's he has a very well coached team every year. First game of the year, he's out there. You don't equip people with black Air Force Ones for no apparent reason.
Right. Yeah, he's my favorite coach. I'm gonna be honest. He's my favorite head coach. I like Kyle as a coordinator. I think him and Andy Reid are top 2 as far as that's
they
concerned.
now on the same team.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I said, thank God they now on the same team. Nobody would win.
Yeah, that'd be trouble. But yeah, I really like Tomlin, man. He's one of my favorite coaches. He's just a leader, leader of
Yeah,
men.
and I think he's going to attack this so far this weak defensive line. I hate to say it, but in the preseason, if you're not if you're not stopping the run against these dudes, second, third stringers, it's a concern.
Yeah.
It could be realistic, and that's why I vibe with you, Brian. Is that we're realistic about this.
Mm-hmm.
We're not negative all the time. We hope for the best, and I'm excited for the season. But there's a lot of concerns, and my man Johnny, who led it off, I agree with everything except I don't think that they were serious about this year. You don't let Jimmy Ward go, first and foremost, if you know he's a dog. But I think that was already set in motion last year with the way they treated him. And then, this whole Bosa thing is really, really bad. And then to cap it all off, you trade away Trey Lance with only 4 starts? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I seen Marinovich have more chances than this dude, man. I'm like, wow, man.
Yeah.
And that's where I've lost my trust with this front office and with Kyle Shanahan. I've lost my trust with them. The draft picks lost. That's 1. 2, you got this Bosa thing hanging over us right now, and he's not going to get up to speed until probably game 3, game 4. That's if he signs tomorrow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he's gonna get injured if he's rushed out there. And we know Kyle likes to press the button a lot. He's a button masher. I mean, CMC last year with the Rams, he's still with the game in hand already. He's still in there. I'm like, what the heck is he still doing in here? What are you guys doing? What are we doing here? So that's why I feel like I've just lost, and it's not without cause. You know what I'm saying? I've been really patient for these past 6 years, 6+.
Yeah.
Like, give them the benefit of the doubt. Things happen here and there within the season. People get injured, but man, it starts stacking up, and I think it's it come to Jesus time for this year. They have to get it done.
You're not alone, GTC. I mean, in general, the fan base, not everybody, but in general, not everyone has that energy Niner gang has, right? Like a lot of people are down right now. I took a survey, like how would you grade the 49ers front office? I think most people voted C or D. I think it was tied as far as like what they've done during with the contracts and the free agency and the draft. So the 49er fans are down right now. Views are down ever since this Trey Lance stuff across all channels, not just my channel. I'm talking about every content creator. Views have gone down. There was that peak because of the Trey Lance stuff, and after that, it just seems guys are tuned out a little bit. But what I think is going to happen is once we see games and the Niners start playing, it'll pick back up and the energy will be there. So I think we're just in a little bit of temporary hole right now.
Yeah. But anyways, that's all I had to say, man. It's just
good to hear from
I'm
you, man.
hoping for the best, man. But I got to be realistic with you. It is not good vibes, And yeah.
Well,
I
hopefully we'll
appreciate
change it. Hopefully we'll change that, man.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
All
Yes,
right, man.
sir. Hey,
Take
good to hear
care,
from you, bro. Good to hear from you, man. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Thanks for having on, man.
All right, take care.
Don't make it so long next time.
I'm busy, And with this insurance stuff, and about that with selling homes, it's really tough to get that. So
You got to make that money, man. I don't blame you. Good to hear from you, bud.
Yep, yes, sir.
All right, that was GTC. I'm gonna move on to Raymond, and then we'll probably be. Brooks is backstage. Brooke tapped in late. I don't know. We'll get to you, Brooke. I know you're here. No one else called in. We don't have time. But let's get to Raymond, man. What's up, Raymond?
What's up, man? Man, everything been negative tonight, and I understand the reason for a lot of the negativity, but I got to spin the positivity, man. Just for this week coming up, to me, and this is something I've been saying, is when you look at the offense and going into this season, minus the little adductor strain that Kittle has there been another better offense for the 49ers under Kyle Shanahan, talent-wise?
No.
In this scheme this long? So to me, that's my thing this year, is there's really no excuse for the offensive side of the ball to not carry their weight. And you can also say they need to kind of carry the defense a little bit going into this year if Bosa's not here. I think when you have a coach who, in terms of football minds is discussed with the guys who do have Super Bowls,
Yeah.
then he needs to be able to hold his own against guys like Mike Tomlin who have Super Bowls. So when I look at this matchup going up there against the Steelers, to me on offense for us, I was earlier today, I saw something you posted, Ryan, and I think it was somebody posting something about the Steelers versus us. I think they were talking about focusing on CMC, for instance.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing, though, when we talk about CMC and we talk about a lot of the guys on this offense, it's the positionless football players that we have who could do so many different things on this team that puts a defense in conflict. So let's say, for instance, you have a CMC coming out of the backfield. And I think Levin had mentioned it that, hey, he thinks Minka Fitzpatrick maybe on early downs is going to come down and try to cover CMC one-on-one. But to me, when you do that, you're sacrificing the middle of the field, which to me is where our bread and butter is. So if Minka's having to come down and cover CMC, then that means Debo and Ayuk over the middle intermediate levels are going to be busting the Steelers' ass that entire game. So to me, those are the type of pick your poison positions that our offense up to this point have been developed to become, so that when you do have a little bit of an injury on the defense or something, or even if it is a George Kittle who's not 100%, you can withstand those blows because you have enough talent on your team. If you look at it from, and some of the callers talked about Jimmy Ward. I love Jimmy Ward. But once Jimmy Ward showed that you can put another safety back there and still get positive results, Jimmy's time was done. Because at the nickel position in football, the nickel position is very much like running back. It's undervalued. They affect the games in large ways, but they don't get paid like these other prime positions do. So nickel's not as much like heavily paid or heavily sought after as, let's say, an outside corner or an outside receiver. That's just the way the game is nowadays. So I love Jimmy Ward, but to me, Jimmy Ward not being here is not the end all be all, not at all. And then if I look at it, if you look at it from what we should be worried about, the only real concern I have, and I haven't heard anybody really bring it up, is George Pickens versus Diamador Lenore. To me, George Pickens versus Diamador Lenore is the main concern for me, because George Pickens doesn't have to have separation on a route to beat you. And if you look at their size differences, it's a terrible matchup from a size perspective, where if Kenny Pickett's getting rushed and Kenny Pickett just has to throw it up, well, what better option than a guy who can pretty much make any stupid catch look reasonable? That's my biggest concern on the outside in terms of what the Steelers are offering. I think just from an overall talent perspective, I think we are the more talented team.
For sure.
I think we've had more success under this tenure under Shanahan. I just think that there's a lot of worry all because of the Bosa thing. But I would say that throughout our fandom under Shanahan, we've become accustomed to being able to see this team win without having everybody on the field. It's become the norm around here, where guys are going to miss a game or two. Some guys are going to miss a season. And I've heard that the argument be brought up, hey, they didn't have success without Bosa when he got hurt. Well, I mean, I'm sorry to say it, but everybody got fucking hurt in 2020. Tell me who didn't get hurt in 2020. So if you correspond that to the team in 2020 without Bosa, I mean, damn, they were without everybody in 2020. So no wonder the team looked awful, if you're just looking at it from a straight stats perspective. But
Raymond,
go ahead.
You're spitting fire right now, and I love it. One thing I think you nailed is that I think this is possible. This is the year where the 49ers offense, as long as Brock Purdy stays healthy, George Kittle is healthy, as long as those guys stay healthy, 49ers offense could be carrying the defense early with Wilkes. I think that's an entire possibility, man. And so you made a great point there. I just wanted to point that out.
Totally.
Thank you, bro. I kind of feel like the offense this year, it's come to a point where on your offense, you're paying a CMC, you're paying a Debo, you're paying a Kittle, you're paying a Trent Williams. The only position you're not paying right now is your quarterback. And it's very rare to have this talented of an offense without the quarterback taking up a large amount of your cap. So because they say that they intentionally are structuring this team that way, that they're intentionally trying to build up the team around a cheap quarterback, then this is their plan, and there's no more excuses anymore. No matter what, there's just because this is your foolproof plan. This is what you're saying that you have developed this team to be able to win a Super Bowl off of. So, Bosa or not, I think this team has to be able to find ways on offense to carry the load. And I'll let you guys get to the next call. I know you got a lot of another person, so just wanted to chime in.
Great call, man.
Made some great points.
Good stuff, Raymond. Hey, every Tuesday, 8 p.m., I think is the new time for us. If you're still awake, man, love to hear from you.
All right, got you. Peace.
All right. Fellas, man, great points by Raymond, man. And I appreciate the positive energy. I think a lot of Niner fans are down, but it's nice to have guys like Raymond and Niner Gang to even lift me up, because sometimes I get in the weeds a little bit with it. I'm excited about the next caller. We have a female named Brooke, man. Too much testosterone here. How you doing, Brooke?
I'm doing good. Thanks, Ryan.
Good to hear from you.
I was just wondering if the situations were reversed and Bosa was on another team and going through the same contract disputes and a trade came up, would the 49ers be willing to invest the money that he's currently asking for if he was asking for that same amount of money in a new trade?
Ooh, that's a tough question. What do you guys think?
It depends on how bad we were hurting at that position and for how long.
Yeah.
Pass rushers are available in drafts. They don't always pan out the way you hope they would. Nick Bosa is generational, and we can't lose sight of like how carefully I use that word and how serious I am when I use it. This is someone who grew up under the tutelage of someone who was already an extraordinary pass rusher in a family that was already a defensive NFL family, basically.
Right.
And this person trickled down, had all that knowledge trickled down into their system and became as impactful to the game as they were expected to be on paper. So do I think they would have shelled out the money? It's hard to say. I mean, the Niners aren't as splashy as some other teams, at least in the recent, time is concerned, but their whole like philosophy is built on defensive line is where we set our laser focus and then build out from there, because they believe that is where the game is most impacted on the defensive side. I believe it's a possibility. I mean, every single team, they're effectively every single team in the league is monitoring this situation and talking to each other saying, do you want to do this? Because like in my gut, I kind of want to do this. I think that's right. Kind of what I think. There's sharks circling the water right now. And the question is how screwed does the front office think we are by paying this money? Because if they think that all the dominoes are going to fall and a window is going to shut, then that's why they might let him go. But guess what? There are other teams equally not as splashy as the 49ers that would put the money in. So obviously, it's hard to say. We're all speculating here. It's a great question. I loved it as soon as I heard it. I thought it's a really great way to actually frame the end of this whole conversation today. Yeah. I think the answer is it depends on how bad they were hurting. And my fear is that if they let him go, that they might find out how bad they're hurting after the fact.
Right.
I would guess no, because the 49ers tend to want to build through the draft versus like, when's the last time the 49ers went out and signed a giant free agent and paid him $30 million? I can't remember one. So I would guess no, they would not. They would try to just do it through the draft, like kind of like how they did Bosa. But what else is on your mind, Brooke?
That was actually the biggest question I had. My second question would just be, my son asked me the other day, and I was a child back then, but who was the better quarterback, Steve Young or Joe Montana?
Oh, I got my opinion on that. It's not popular, but I like Steve, man. Personally, Steve was my favorite. Steve is the pinnacle of like what I want from a quarterback. So I go Steve every time. People don't like that. Everyone says Joe, and I get it, man. You got to love Joe. He brought 4 Super Bowls to the 49ers, but I'm a Steve Young guy. That's my pick.
Right. Mine would be Montana, probably because he was what made me a 49er fan from the beginning. So
I don't think there's a wrong answer here.
Okay.
There's no wrong answer.
Yeah.
I like Steve Young because it was close to the era I was cognizant about 49ers football. And Joe Montana, I don't know. He's been a little wishy-washy about like his 49ers legacy. Like I think he's kind of been like during the Super Bowl when it was 49ers Chiefs, and he was kind of like tweeted at that jersey with half and half. I was like, get out of here, dude. Like, you're and then he wears Skechers. Like, I don't know. I don't trust him. So I'm a Steve Young fan.
BNA, what do you think?
I lean towards Steve just because, like you said, that was when I was old enough to like know what I'm looking at football. Not to mention, he's on the team with my cousin, so he got my cousin the ring. So shout out to him for that. But when you look at not the early Steve, like his Buck years and stuff like that, but when Steve hit his groove, he's what pretty much every team looks for in the quarterback, even when they're not thinking about it. You want a guy that can make all the throws, smart, and at the same time, when the pocket breaks down, he can still break off for a 50-yard touchdown if he wanted to. He's pretty much left-handed. He was left-handed Mahomes for the most part.
Yeah, accurate, most
and a more
accurate
passer
quarterback
too.
Yeah, super accurate.
Throwing darts.
Yeah, Brooke, great questions to wrap up the show. Is there anything else you wanted to get off?
That was it. I appreciate all your time, gentlemen. Thank you. Have a beautiful night.
Thank you, Brooke. You as well.
Nice to hear from you. Please call back. We need more women calling in. Can't just be a bunch of sad dudes all the time. So thank you.
You got it. You got it.
Please. We're begging you.
Okay.
All right. Good to hear from Brooke. She was great. Guys, it's a great first show. We're gonna keep learning. We're gonna build up the energy a little bit. I think I need a little more action from Sourdeath on his. I don't know what that's called. The button.
Yeah. Well, we'll start integrating sound effects.
Yeah.
I'll see.
And hopefully next week we have something to be happy about. Hopefully everyone's calling
we'll
and
have
telling
an
me
actual
Ryan.
game to talk about, which I think will be helpful. I think when you're talking about your views going down, I think it's all symptomatic of like we're just in this weird, dark, murky disappointment phase because we just let go of Trey Lance, who we invested so much hope into. And then the guy who we thought was going to be the thing that made us feel better. Now we're in sort of waiting with that. We just need a game. Winning cures all. And, I think we should be positive. I think our offense has the capability to be the strongest it's ever been. You've got Ayuk in a contract year effectively. You've got CMC who's locked and loaded, understands the systems, ready to go. If we thought we were stoked with what we saw last year, now we have a full offseason with him, plus his game experience from last year. I feel really good about our offense. Obviously, our defense is the bigger question mark, which is the first time I feel like it's been flipped on its head over the past couple of years. But I still feel great about that as well. We've got Fred Warner. We've got Dre Greenlaw. We've got Funga, who is obviously ascending, continues to ascend, very young guy. So we've got a lot to look forward to. So I'm feeling good. We got a game in like 5 days. So we're chilling.
And then next week we might have BNA with what did they actually call it, a battle axe, or is that just what people who don't play the guitar call it?
I've never heard that one before.
So obviously it's B. The answer is B. But yeah, BNA will be back with a little music. I want you to just jump in and play random riffs whenever you feel it's appropriate moving forward, BNA.
For sure.
Yeah. So good, man. Anything just so everyone knows, the YouTube channels as well as the Twitter handles are already posted on the details in the description for Sourdeath Sam, as well as BNA Music. Make sure you guys are following those guys and subscribe to their channels. It's important to me that if you follow me, make sure you follow those guys as well. And we're going to run it back. We should have about 17 to 20 more shows if we're lucky this year. Late night calling show. Appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, man.